Style with Trysh. We are so glad that you guys came and decided to hang out with us on this Thursday, beautiful evening. I don't know about
Yeah.
you or where you are. I just was talking to my mom, and she's up there in Indiana and they're dealing with snow. I'm in Georgia and it was a pretty nice day, a little chilly. And my guest today, none other than Jenean Z, I'm saying her whole name, Jenean Z Flanders. She's
I
down in
love it.
Florida. And she's here with us today, guys. I'm so excited to have her here. You guys know Style with Trysh is here, and we are corresponding with Swag Her magazine. So make sure you send some love to Swagger. We thank them. We love them for allowing us to come on and have a part and be a part of this broadcast. But without further ado, I would like you all to welcome my guest tonight, which is Jenean of Chic Confidence. Welcome, Jenean.
Hey, lady, how are you doing today?
I am wonderful. I'm doing great because you're on tonight and we get to talk about fashion.
Yeah.
So I shared a little bit that you were down there in Florida. And guys, what I want to share, well, she can describe that, what she does for you. She does it better than I could. But share a little bit of your history and how you decided and how you fell into the world of fashion.
Okay. I honestly think I was born for fashion. I don't remember a time in my life that I wasn't interested in fashion from a little girl.
Mhm.
But the reason why it became something important that I wanted to step into as an adult, and that is after, let me do back up a little bit.
Mhm.
I've been a personal trainer, a makeup
Mm.
artist. I've done clothes, hair, and clothing.
Mhm.
So like almost every type of like image related industry thing I've
Mhm.
done in a few stores and stuff like that. And one of the things that I really hate seeing is women feeling uncomfortable in their own skin.
Mhm.
And me personally, I understand where that was coming from. I know that I grew up a little bit poor. If you want to say that, we had a little time when it was just a little rough. And when it was a little bit rough, and going through like middle school and high school, things happened. Kids said stuff that just affected my self esteem. And one of the ways that I built that back is I started like, this is real young, about 12, 13, selling candy. And when
Mm.
that candy, that money, I could take it and I could buy clothes with. And I just started to develop my style from there because there was a little bit of money for me to choose some of the things that I wanted.
Okay.
And so I learned through time how to build a wardrobe. And one of the things I realized is a lot of people don't, and a lot of people are still at my age, which is 42.
Mm.
A lot of people are still uncomfortable in their own skin.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's a problem to me, and something that can easily be fixed if you have some understanding and if you're willing to put in effort, because anybody who dresses up regularly knows that's effort.
It is.
And so you have to kind of make a commitment to yourself to take care of yourself, which is a form of self-love. But that's where
Mhm.
I kind of got started with everything.
Mhm. And that's amazing. And it's so funny because, and I love to hear people's stories of where they began. We have similar backgrounds where I'm one of five girls. And so you can imagine the headache that my mother had to endure when it came to clothes. And when you grow up and you are less fortunate financially, to be able to go to the mall and buy clothes. My mother was a seamstress, thank God. So a lot of things that we would see in the store, we could also go to the fabric store and pick out similar pieces and she would make them. But I understand what you're saying. This she can make shoes, and
Yeah.
so there were certain
But
things that we
the time we probably grew up in where name brand was to me even more of a thing than it is now.
Yeah, it was. It was. And it's funny because some of the name brands that were low budget name brands back then for
Yeah.
us is major now, like
I-
Champion. Like Champion was what Kmart.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but but that's the fashion line that the kids are wearing now,
I know.
and rocking it.
Like I want a champion hoodie and I was like, really?
We got teas for that.
I know.
So yeah, I love hearing how you evolved and how you were able to evolve in that. If you can share and dibble and dabble, with some of the other entities of the beauty industry that you spoke about a few minutes ago. You say you were into fitness. So you were a fitness trainer?
Yeah, I was a personal trainer. So
Okay.
I left college and went into the business world, corporate America. And it didn't take me really long to realize I didn't like being in a cubicle.
Okay.
So that became like a problem for me. And I was like, okay, I
Mhm.
need to find an outlet. I've always kind of worked out to a certain extent, but
Mhm.
never really hit my goals. And so I was like, I'll become a personal trainer. I'll get better and other people can get better.
Mhm.
And if you have done any type of thing, I think fashion is the same way where you're just one on one with people. You start
Mhm.
and like you're a therapist.
Yeah,
You're not just
absolutely.
a trainer.
Mhm. Mhm.
So people have like, body eye issues, which
Mhm.
I understand because
Mhm.
now like I've had fibroids and stuff and your
Mhm.
body doesn't bounce back, you have scars that you didn't plan to have. So
Mhm.
I get it.
Yeah.
But you still have to get up every morning and think you are beautiful. And so that's kind of what started that for me. I know makeup was something else that I just enjoy doing because I just like all things related to image.
Mhm.
when one of the things I realized is like a lot of women who would say, come and say, oh, I don't do all that. And I was like, because I have children.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, that's not an excuse.
Right,
Like,
right.
children is, I have a child, two have
Mhm.
children. And I'm like, you want to be a good example for your children. But even at that time, I didn't have children. And I was like, your priorities aren't in the wrong place. And I could see that now because we know now. I know
Mhm.
now that if you love yourself,
Mhm.
then you love other people better.
Right.
And
Right.
so, although it seems like an honorable thing to like put your child first, trust me, your attitude and you don't feel great about yourself, you're not giving them the best you.
Yes, and that is so, and that's where we as women tend to cheat ourselves a lot. We tend to have the guilt complex, and we feel bad. And it doesn't mean that you have to go and I think usually in that particular topic, it's either from one spectrum of extreme to the other. And just because you love yourself and just because you want to pamper and take care of yourself, and it isn't just for physical, it's for mental, it's
Yeah,
for spiritual um fulfillment. And we tend to say, oh well, that's just superficial because you're only worried and focused on the outer. No, you're not. What you're saying is, yeah, you want to put your best foot forward when you go out. This sometimes I go out and I have on sweats, you probably wouldn't even recognize me because I look
yeah.
bad, but I don't go out like that all the time. I do not. You would never ever catch me out in pajamas ever. My mother would kill
Yeah.
me.
No, we're not.
And like you said, when you have children, what is teaching your especially if you have girls, what is teaching your girls is that you can go and look anyway and be unpresentable. Does that mean when you are looking your worst that you feel less than? I mean, maybe I'm just an odd woman out, but I don't feel like I'm overall ugly and all of that just because I'm bumming out,
Yeah, yeah,
which is the same as when I'm dressed to a T. I don't feel like, I'm the best thing walking around. I have a level of
yeah,
self-confidence.
yeah,
Yeah, and it's balanced. So,
yeah.
and that's all we're saying is balance. And I believe that's what you're saying. All we're saying is to keep it balanced. When you're dressed up, you feeling it, you fire. When you're not,
You're
you're
still
fire.
fine.
You still fire, but at the same time, you don't want to be out and looking any kind of way. And I don't care if you're married. I don't care because even if you're married, your husband won't want to see you looking like that going out in public, or he shouldn't. Um, anyway, so I'm sorry, I just had to spend a little time there because that could be a whole show within itself,
Yeah.
in how you carry yourself. But you are a influencer, you are a content creator. I've personally followed you on Instagram and have been following you for a while. And ki- I kind of want to dibble and dabble in that particular area, and then we're going to move on into, hey Gwen, thanks for joining us. I kind of want to move into that area before we actually get into, because guys, we got a great show lined up for you. Jenean is going to do some demonstrations. She's going to show us how she rocks this one look different ways. So it's going to be a fun show, guys. So make sure you stay locked in. But let's talk about the content creator and the influencer part of what you do.
Right.
First question is, why is it so important as an influencer to visually and audibly be available on social media? Why is that so important as an influencer?
I think the main reason is because people need to see consistency and need to see you show up.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the main reason. I know for me, it's actually rather difficult. I don't know if you've been following me, so you know that I've had like health problems in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, sometimes a rough day for me.
Yeah.
And I
Mm-hmm.
say I can do it every single day. But as often as possible, I think you should show up, especially if you're just doing it because you like it.
Yeah.
Because I think that should be probably where you start. Like, I just like it. And so I'm just going to do this. I'm going to dress up whether and no one saw me or everyone saw me. I'm going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I think the second reason to show up is because you're serving people.
Yeah.
I think that's really important. If you're making content that you feel, they say content should be either inspirational or educational,
Mm-hmm.
or just fun or entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, the things that I want to do is more in the inspiration / education space. And
Mm-hmm.
so I feel like if I am teaching you how to take what's in your wardrobe
Mm-hmm.
and you're like, okay, that's a good idea, I want to try that out. The
Mm-hmm.
next time you go looking for me, I don't want you to be like, well, where is that girl? I can't find her. Does she make it?
Right.
You know, it's about to grow. Or even if you like followed around me along and like I had a miscarriage
Mm-hmm.
and now you're like, well, how is she bouncing back? I think it's good to not disappear after all these things
Yeah.
and shut, but just, okay, she's still carrying on because I just went through that and she's still carrying
Mm-hmm.
on. I can
Mm-hmm.
see. So I just think if you kind of realize that your life is not about people and
Yeah.
about you only, and it's about
Yeah.
people, and you're here to like bring value to the world, and you're doing something you enjoy, you should be showing up as much as you can.
Yeah. And I think that's a beautiful thing about you, is that you see it in that light. You don't see it as a burden, because I think that, anyone who suffers that type of tragedy, any woman that suffers that type of tragedy in her life, the first thing you want to do is ball up, and
Oh,
in
and
your
I did.
skin.
I
Yeah.
did.
And that's what I was gonna say. That's a place and a time for that. But like
Yeah.
you said, there was a passion behind that kind of helped you. And then for us who are watching, you to say, oh my God, I didn't go through that specific thing. And what I'm
Right.
going through ain't even nowhere near half, not even a fourth of what she's going through. And if she can find her way out of that place, then by God, I definitely can. And just it's just a testament of the influence, and that's what makes you an influencer, is the fact that you can and you have walked that walk and still come out shining, maybe a little different, but you come out shining and you keep going. And what that does to me is like, okay, no matter what, I can keep going, because if she can keep going, I can keep going. And that's the true inspiration. And those are the type of influences that I like to follow and to be a part of my day to day. Okay, what's Jenean talking about today? I'm going to go straight to you. So even though it's the inspirational side of being an influencer, talk a little bit about some of the negatives, because in everything that you do, no matter how much passion is behind it, there are going to be some things that you may struggle with. We talked a little bit about this off camera, but share with our listeners your take on that.
I think the most obvious negative thing is growth, right?
Mm-hmm.
And because you want to move faster than you're moving sometimes. I think that, at least for me, I've wanted to move faster. And I also feel like, hey, I'm putting in the work, so I
Mm-hmm.
should be moving faster than I'm moving. But
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that kind of I started doing last year is I started like tracking my numbers day by day.
Mm.
And that really helps because you can look back 2 weeks ago, and although you haven't grown a lot, you're typically not in the exact same place you were before.
Right, right.
And so I know for maybe a larger influencer, it's easy for them to see like rapid growth. Like, oh, I had 10,000.
Mhm,
Oh, I have
mhm,
and
mhm.
million or whatever it is. But you can't despise the days of small beginnings either. And
That's
so
right.
you look like I have 10, but now I have 15. That's still
Mhm,
great. And then I think if we go back to like, why are you doing this in the first place? And
mhm.
as far as like ministering to people, which it
Yeah,
is kind of a ministry, like you're
it
giving
is.
life to people.
Mhm.
You're doing that. And God, right now, I think I have like 805 people on YouTube and maybe like 6,000 plus on Instagram.
Mhm.
And I thought if I could just put, and we need to kind of imagine this, if you can put 800 people in a room, that's
Mhm.
cool.
That's a lot of people.
That's more
Exactly.
people who fill out most church services. Like
Mhm, mhm.
a church with 800 people, you'd be like, this is a really large church. If
Yeah.
you went to somewhere with like 6,500 people, you're like, this is near a stadium, you know, like
Mhm, mhm.
get it because you're comparing yourself to someone else. But
Yeah.
I started looking at it like God saw it fit for me to serve. Again, let's add these numbers up like 700, 7,000 plus people.
Right.
That, and although that might be small, that's somebody's city. Like,
That's right. It's the truth.
so like, I think we just need to be thankful. And then to me, like, my thing is like steward it well, then
Yeah.
learn, like, get that part right before
Yeah.
he sends you out to
Yeah.
wherever he's going to send you out. Or say like he never does. You still have like hundreds of people listening to you, checking for you.
Mhm.
How many people really have that in their day-to-day life ever?
Right, right. And it's so funny you mentioned that because I used to record music. I was recording gospel, recording independent artists.
Oh, you could sing?
Yeah,
Girl,
girl. That was my start, which everything I do other than media has always been like pulling teeth because I really didn't want to do it.
mm-hmm.
But you were talking about, you having your purpose and all of that. So that I found that that was my purpose during that season of my life. And my failure in that particular area is when I stopped focusing on why I was doing what I was doing, the purpose of me doing what I was doing. I fell away from that and started focusing on, well, I'm not charting this week, or I didn't get that engagement invite, or I didn't get that feature. My focus went off of what I initially, the purpose of me starting it and doing it. Once it fell off of that, then I didn't love it anymore. I
Yeah.
know I did it. Yeah, I did it to myself,
But
but
you're human, right? And that's easy to do.
yeah.
I mean, I've had my moments with that, but I think
Mhm.
you have to come back to
Yeah. Yeah.
that.
And for me, I burned out. So from singing, so I haven't sung and recorded, but during the transition of singing, I was also doing media. And this was something that I absolutely love because it isn't just when you sing and yeah, it's a conversation, but you're the only one with the conversation and you're ministering to people. But this way for me is more of a ministry because you get feedback. I get to hear your story. And it's not just about my story and all of that. So
Yeah.
this is probably where I should have been anyway. But I said all of that to say we have to stay focused on purpose and passion because we can't get caught up in those numbers. We can't get caught up, like you said, in what Sally Sue is doing and what she's able to accomplish over here because we don't know what she's doing, truly doing to
Really.
get to get those numbers. And so I just wanted to share that side of content creating and being an influencer. It's a wonderful thing. It's a great outlet.
There's negative feedback. I'm not, let's,
Oh yeah.
but that actually doesn't bother me. Maybe I'm not getting enough yet for it to bother me because I
Yeah.
think we're really sensitive to that. But to me, I'm like, girl, I must be making it. Y'all got something to say.
That's horrible that's how it is, but that is true. I mean, if you're getting criticism and people coming on talking to you crazy, you on a good path. Because that was what I was going to mention earlier. When you have Tabitha, I love, and everybody knows Tabitha. I love her journey because Tabitha has never had to get dirty, nasty, and put out certain things. There are some people who are well known because of the type of content that they put out. And to me, anything that goes against my moral values and that will hurt people, I just can't do that.
Yeah.
And so she's a testament to the type. So you and I have to realize that what we put out is positivity. Positivity in society today is going to be the bottom of the barrel. If I can talk about the next celebrity and what the celebrity is doing in their love life and all that kind of stuff, and the bickering and the fighting and the crazy politics, then you tend to be at the top.
Right.
But like you, I'd rather stay positive. If that means being at the bottom or toward the bottom, so be it,
Yeah.
But we're going to talk about a couple. Now we're going to get into the fashion, y'all. We're doing good on timing. I want you to share some, what does staple pieces mean? We hear a lot that, your wardrobe should possess staple pieces. What are staple pieces?
I have come to the conclusion that staple pieces are different for everybody. So let's start there. It's not like an exact thing that you should be wearing. But I think in general, when people are saying staples, they're saying things that are not like too patterned or too, I guess, showy. I have my like quirks with that, but you need some foundational pieces. And I think the staple would mean you wear it over and over again. You can wear it over and over again. I think the problem that a lot of people have is they shop for events. I know quite a few people who they shop for a thing.
Okay.
And because they're shopping for just that thing, that thing only works for that thing.
Wow.
And that's the problem. I think if you're buying staple pieces, it needs to be shopping for one thing needs to go with a bunch of things. I think if we're going to simplify the definition, one thing that goes with a bunch of things, and those could be like your foundational pieces in your wardrobe. And I think it has to be a certain color or look because everybody's different. But if you're the type of person who will pick that up and wear it over and over and over again, that's a staple thing.
Yeah.
So I think that's where you start with that. Basic.
And then it could be anything from a blouse to slacks to dresses, blazers. And I know, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I do think a good rule of thumb is with my kids, one of the things I did from like when they were like 7 on, I would make them I would buy 7 of everything, whatever their age is.
Oh, wow.
So I would be like, you're getting 7 shirts, 7 pants, 7 pieces of outerwear, and 7 shoes.
Okay.
And if we do math, which we're not going to do it, but if 7 times 7 is 49, times bigger number times 7 is a bigger number. And I'm like, the number of outfits you can create with these things. When they turned 8, it was 8. And 9, it was 9. And stuff like that. Of course, sometimes it's extra stuff, but for the most part, that would be their foundational wardrobe.
Wow.
And then they could have like fun things, but their foundational wardrobe were like these little things. And I think that's something that I still do for myself today. And because I'm older, my number is a lot bigger. So it stretches out. But I was teaching them this, like, these are the things you wear together. Another thing I did that could help it, and I don't think everyone has to do this, but I think it's helpful, is I have them say, these are your 3 neutral colors. I would choose them: black, denim, some khaki. And you can pick 2 colors. And all the little extra pieces would go in those 2 colors. That way, dress themselves. I never dressed my kids.
Oh, wow.
But everything always matched.
Yeah.
Everything.
That's smart.
And so I think thinking about it like that, if you're trying to build a wardrobe, for us, as an adult, I think 7 is a good number because it's something for every day of the week.
Mm-hmm.
Like, these are the 7 shirts I get. These are the 7 bottoms. These are the 7 shoes. And those are the 7 outerwears. And actually, that is kind of a lot because you can create a lot.
Yeah,
With
because
just
7 pieces of outerwear is a lot
it is.
for me, but 7 pair of shoes is not enough.
But if you get started,
Yeah, it's a good start.
7 pieces of outerwear is a lot. But then that will be, depending on your climate, that could be a denim jacket or a
Yeah.
cardigan or a coat or a puffer. And so you'll
Okay.
have for everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then probably you don't need necessarily 7 pieces. So a few of those pieces will probably just be fun, and everybody should have something like fun in their
Yeah.
wardrobe.
And I wasn't thinking about cardigans and when you start until you mentioned that, but yeah, jackets and yeah, I was thinking
Yeah.
of like coats. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
leather, jackets, all those things. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a good place to start. So I call it my 7 times 7 times 7 times 7 rule. And that's
Mm-hmm.
like everything.
Yeah. That's a good way of, especially for those who um are not, when we're going to talk about that and go into that more detail here in a minute, about for those who are not really quite sure what their style is, and they're really just trying to because truth be told, and I've found since I've been doing style with Trish that everyone wasn't raised the same.
Mm-hmm.
And I was raised in a house full of girls, but my mother, like I said earlier, she was into fashion, but is a seamstress and can make just about anything, coats, you
Yeah,
name it, she can make it.
my mom
Um,
can too.
yeah, and so I had that advantage of having a mom, and then my godmom was heavily into shoes, so that's where I got my
I,
obsession with shoes from. And but everyone wasn't exposed to that. There are some women that I found since I've been in the media side of the beauty industry. They didn't have that guidance. They didn't have, their mom was a little bit more tomboyish, and just wore sneakers and jeans and t-shirts. And so they're trying to break into developing their own personal style. And because they didn't have the original influence, it's a little bit harder. But that's where you come in. So share
right.
with us what you do for your clients there in Tallahassee.
Okay, so one of the things I do is go into people's houses. They call me up and they're like, I need you to help me figure out what should be wearing. Because that sometimes is a problem. People are just like
Mhm.
buying wrong things for their body because they saw it on someone else and that was cute.
Right. Mhm.
So let me see what we should be wearing. But also, I want my closet to be cohesive. And I feel like my brain is like a calculator. I like that. That goes with that. And so we just do that. I typically go in and it's a long day. It's a couple
Mhm.
of long days because we're trying on everything they own,
Oh, wow.
everything they're on. So it's like several long days. And
Mm.
one of the things that I typically do is say, this is a number we're going to stop at for,
Mhm.
and it's different because everybody's working with different space. So
Right. Right.
everybody shouldn't have massive amounts of clothes if they only can have space for little closets. But if
Mhm.
you have space, girl, have the closet. The point is you shouldn't be overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And so we find a number and we're stopping at this number and we're going to find everything you like in this number and
Okay.
then try it on. And I'm not really telling them what they like initially. I'm seeing what they are excited about.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then after that, we're like, okay, now you have like 45 shirts and you have 3 pairs of pants, honey. Like, and so they're like, okay, now that we know like these are the shirts we like, what shirts best suit these type of bottoms
Yeah.
and your body? Notice when you try this on, that's the thing that made your belly look bigger. And when you try
Mhm.
on that, your legs looked better. So like
Mm.
we just go through all that and then we make a shopping list from there. And
Okay.
I shop for them.
Okay. Okay. That was gonna be my next question. Yeah.
Hmm.
So do you then invite them to come with you to shop, or because some people, because that's part of some people's issue. They just don't like to shop. But I think that, and maybe it's just my craziness, because I can't understand why nobody would hate shopping. But I'm thinking that the reason why they don't like to shop is because they're intimidated and they don't know what to look for, and because they haven't had your help to know what looks good and will work for them.
Yeah, I have a lot of friends who say they don't like to shop. That's like beyond me, because I love to shop for everything,
Girl.
groceries, girl, everything. So I don't have that issue. One of the things that I do shop for them, and typically that means like I'm online shopping for them, because like brands that I know the quality of this works will be good for you. Their return policy is good. This won't be any hassle for you.
Right.
And do that. And honestly, I'm not big on like doing a big mass bulk shop. I feel to have like, I don't think we ever go past 10 pieces.
Okay.
And is a lot, but depends on where their closet is at before. Because I'm like, you need to know how to find your style and work with what you have, not just keep buying stuff because that's like your initial problem.
Yeah.
You just bought some stuff. We didn't, which is the fun part, but it's not helpful. And for me, I think in my own personal style, if you do fashion and you've done fashion for like YouTube or Instagram, I'm pretty sure lots of people buy lots of clothes all the time to be able to put out these content. And that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, the point is to help you dress better, then I be able to take what I have and help you dress real life.
That's right. And then no, everyone can't afford that. And then the people watching, they're not realizing that they're getting some type of break on those pieces.
Right.
To be able to turn them over so fast and so quickly. So I'm like you. I mean, that to me, that this is the most economic way and most realistic way to and route to go. So what is your shopping range? Like we talked about, we did talk about staple pieces. We didn't kind of finish that one, because are there staple pieces that are worth kind of going higher up in budget? And then after that, answer where your range falls.
Yeah, I think the things that are, I feel like for the most part, if you can spend at least $25, and that's a lot for some people because we know people are in different spots, but I do feel like for most brands, if you can get to the $25-$30 mark in most clothing to about $100, you can find something decent for the most part. And that's not really including outerwear because that's hit or miss. Yeah. So outerwear would be like a place where you would put more money into. But if it was me, what I tend to do is I put more money into the outerwear, the shoes, and the bags.
Yeah.
Those are like, and I don't think you need a million bags, but I personally feel like once you have a good leather bag, they'll do it for you no more. And thing with shoes, like comfort is important, but also you want it to be, and there is a difference in comfort with shoes past a certain price point. Not all the time, but a lot of the time. It is that. And another thing I think is belts. And that's but same thing, like a leather belt and a pleather belt, they just hold up a lot different. Going into the belt instead of like buying one again in a year and every year. Now there's some staple like pieces I think you should be cheap with. And to me, white button-up shirts and white t-shirts, to me, I don't care what anyone says. I hear people talk about you should buy the expensive white shirts. I don't think so. They always follow under the picture.
Exactly.
You can always get a stain on it and all that. So basic classic item, but I think you could find those cheap, find a way you like it, go to Old Navy or something, and you buy that every year and expect to buy that every year.
Right.
But other type of things, no.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, but other things, no. But I think another thing that I do is, and I did a video about this, about my like best purchases of 2022 or my most recent purchases and in January. And one of the things that I said in that video is almost everything I bought was something I've had before in my closet, but higher quality. And
Okay.
that's a tested item. I bought a white blazer and then I was like, oh, I like wearing like white blazers. So if I buy a white blazer, I'm not gonna buy like a cheap white blazer. I'm gonna buy a nicer quality like white blazer because I'm gonna wear this. I know that.
Yeah.
And so I think that's another way you can know what you like, and if those things that you're gonna wear often, just go ahead and put the money in. And you'd have to try it for
Yeah.
that.
And developing an eye, it comes with time, because there are some things that I've purchased that were cheap. Lord knows they was cheap. But when I paired it with something else, it heightened the quality level, and I've gotten more compliments on that than I did some of the stuff that I paid more money for. And going back to when you were talking about your bags and things of that nature, because you're going to wear, you're going to wear them more often, it's also important to get those in neutral colors so that you can wear them and rock them with different looks, because you're going to show us how to bring about different looks. But
can I give you an example?
Go ahead.
So this bag was not expensive. This one I got from like Macy's. It's INC. It's like a fun bag. I don't think you should have to spend a lot of money on a fun bag. So this would be like $40, but this is like a Tory Burch bag.
Oh yeah.
And that's a bag I do wear a lot, and I put money into this.
It's an investment. It's an investment piece.
More of an investment. This was like I try the trend and see if I like it. I happen to like it. No, I'm gonna wear this bag. We need to put some money into it.
Right. And show us while you're there. Show us other pieces, some of your other pieces that, whether it's shoes or belts or whatever, that you think should be investments versus fun pieces.
Okay. And I wanted to say something about quality. Quality is, there's not a price on quality. Quality is just how something is made. Yeah. So you get into, I think one of the things that is smart to do is kind of go to like luxury or more higher end things and see how they're made, so that when you come across a more inexpensive piece, you recognize like, oh, this is good quality for a lower price, because that's something. So one example of that, this is a cheap shoe. This is a Shein shoe. It was like $35 maybe. And I feel like this is a good quality shoe. If you look at it, I don't know how close we can get, but the stitch.
Here, try to move you a little closer just so everyone can see. Okay, here we go. There we go.
Yeah, but the stitching, there's no like things sticking out, and it's really padded. I don't know if you can tell that. And so this is not an expensive shoe, but it's a good quality shoe. And so I think like recognize the difference in those two. It's comfortable as well. But I have a shoe that I do get a lot of compliments on. This is a cute shoe.
Oh yeah.
Good quality shoe, honey.
Wow.
It is uncomfortable. It was cheap, but I still keep it because sometimes I don't care and I just want it for the outfit.
Yeah. Those are sitting shoes, in other words, when you're going to sit.
Yeah, those are like, I call them church shoes, because you can walk in cute and walk out cute. You're not doing nothing else.
Right.
You that's where I spend the money on. I spend money on bags though. I like bags.
Okay.
Put more money mostly into bags and decent money into shoes, because one of the things I have found, and decent for me means like I'm probably like in the 150 to 300 range. I have found though, they wear just as fast often as other shoes.
Yeah.
And so it's a comfort. And so like I like Sam Edelman because I feel like that's a comfortable brand.
Yes.
And they're typically not like, they're affordable depending on where you're at in life. And so I like a brand like that. I got these pumps from Shein, but I have tried a sandal and I will not do that again.
Yeah.
I quality was like in the garbage.
Mhm. And
And
and one of the things you spoke on with the quality of shoes, there are some people, because I have them in my family that are just naturally hard on shoes. They're
yeah.
hard on shoes. And those would be the ones that I would tend not to say to buy the higher end shoes because
Mm,
you're going to wear them out anyway.
mm,
Um, so it would be better for you to buy in my opinion, a cheaper shoe because as we shared before, we came on air, I have a pair of shoes, a name brand shoes that totally and completely kill my feet. And I'm afraid if I wear them and wear them too long and too often, they're going to tear up the look of my feet. And I'm really funny about the way my feet look. And
yeah.
so that was an investment that was wasted. And like I told you, I wish I had that money back and I had not spent the money on that shoe. So back to you, but I just wanted to share that little bit. There are naturally some people who are hard on shoes.
They are.
Some you may not want to, you don't want to go too cheap either, but the higher ends, you might want to stay away from them if
Yeah.
you want to save some money. Yeah.
I honestly think the best place to spend your money for most things is mid range.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you just want like quality and a decent item,
Mm,
typically mid range price, that's typically the best. And I know that's not even like popular now because there's like so much like luxury
hmm
pushed out there, which is cool, but everybody can't afford luxury. But I also don't think it's necessarily the best place to spend your money.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
told you before, I don't think that past a certain number, a lot of times the quality doesn't get better. And then you
Yes.
for the name.
Yes. Say that again. I need you to say that again.
Past a certain number, the quality doesn't get better and you're just paying for the name.
Yes.
It just is what it is. And
Mhm.
I'm not saying don't get it, because if you like a piece and you just love it, you love it, you could afford to do it.
Mhm.
Don't feel any pressure to do
Mm.
anything because that's good quality, not necessarily.
Yeah, I agree. I love that. I love that. That's going to be my quote from you. So let's get into it. And we have just describe what you're wearing, and I'm going to turn it over to you, and you're going to show us different ways that you can rock this look.
Okay. When we're talking about something like inexpensive, what I have on is inexpensive. This shirt is a button-down shirt from ASOS. And I picked this out because I feel like a blue button-down shirt is kind of a classic in most people's wardrobes. Now, this one has interesting sleeves, but even if you had just a typical standard button-down shirt, it will work. And then I have on wide leg jeans. And I went with wide leg jeans because that's what's trending right now. But for me, wide legs, anything is just part of my personal style. And whether it's on trend or not is something I'm going to wear. I wanted to show you two ways to style this particular item. And so I'm walking over here to my stool. But you want to make your clothes have some distance in it. So the first thing I decided to do is get a button down shirt, and I'm gonna put a shirt on top of a shirt. So this one is denim. This is more just of like a regular cotton blue shirt. And we're gonna change the look of the shirt. And if I look away, it's because I'm looking in the mirror. And so outfit number one is to double denim. So doubling up denim is popular now, but also doubling up shirts. With that, I would probably pull the sleeves down because I would want to make the denim pop a little bit or show off the two things. I want to make them stand out. And for
So does the
shoes,
denim, does the shade of denim matter? Like if your shirt was lighter or darker than your pant, does that matter?
not for me. Not for me. It might matter to some people. For me, I don't I don't care. And so the other thing that I'm going to do, take these socks off for a second, and I'm going to add some pumps to this look because I'm a pump girl. These are actually a pretty comfortable pump because you can see this is like a very low heel. And this is from a brand called Louis Etier. It's found in like stores like Bloomingdale's and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And so although I'm casually dressed, I'm a big person who likes to upgrade a casual look. I don't
Mm.
want to look too casual, so I'm the type of person who would put on pumps. And then I grabbed a shoulder bag, and this one is from Michael Kors. And I see right now one of the things that are trending. I feel like last year or in a year, a couple years in a row, it was like a whole big mini bag things. But the two bags that I'm noticing trending now are shoulder bags and tote bags, or
Mm-hmm.
larger bags in
Mm-hmm.
general. So this would be my bag. I like shoulder bag or really top handle bags too, because I like anything I can hold in my hand because I don't like things wrinkling my outfit. I know
Mm.
that's hello, but it is what it is. And then I got have sunglasses on, and these are just some like cat eye sunglasses. And for me, this is how this is my version of a casual outfit.
Okay.
If I had to walk around, the only thing different is I would put on like sneakers and loafers, and I would probably do a all white sneaker or just a black loafer. But
Okay.
this is my version of a casual outfit and a double denim look. Now
Mm.
the another way to change this outfit, so I'm stretching my wardrobe and I'm like giving it a whole different look.
Mm.
Is I'm gonna this time take that off and I am putting on a coat. Actually, before I even do the coat, let's change the shirt. Because although this is a comfortable way to look, I love like single tuck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see you rock that a lot.
Yeah, I love, and that's because for me, I feel like, or even a double tuck, but when you're showing one leg, you're not getting as swallowed up by the clothes.
Yeah. And for those of us who are bottom heavy, this is a wonderful look. I started doing this after seeing Jenean because I'm bottom heavy, the tucking it in the waist takes away the bulk because you tend to look a little heavier when because you
Right.
have to fit your hips. And so tucking that one side I started doing because it takes away some of that bulk and show that I actually do have curves up under there.
Hmm. And another thing is, I actually do not have a flat stomach. I did mention that I was like recently pregnant and I have not lost all the pregnancy weight. And
Mm.
so I don't necessarily always want to tuck it in tight because then I'm like showing everything. But this gives you, like she said, some shape
Yeah.
without all the shape showing. And if I just wanted to make it slightly more interesting, I'll show a little bit of a buckle here.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're doing a coat. That makes this same outfit a different look.
Mhm.
If we could do a scarf, but I personally I'm going to change out my shoes. And excuse me, because I just took those socks off, but I don't want to put them back on again. But I'm gonna put on these boots,
Oh, that's cute. Yeah.
and
You got
that's
to
just.
get your bling. Yeah.
I
Mm-hmm.
feel like every outfit should have something fun in it,
Mm-hmm.
something like a little bit interesting in it. And so for me, it's gonna be these boots. And so I just think this is cute.
It
Anyway,
is.
and that is just something unexpected because with the black coat, you typically would expect, first of all, this to be tucked in.
Mm-hmm.
Would expect for a black shoe or some kind of black shoe to be on the bottom. Silver makes it a little bit more interesting.
Yeah.
I could do a business tote if I wanted a tote, but this is a tote bag that I have. It's Diesel brand and it's metallic. And
Mm-hmm.
just to add a different texture to my look, I added this bag.
Yeah.
So
I,
it gives you
I
like,
like that. Yeah, I like that look.
yes, it'll give you like an oversized look as well. And I don't know how this,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, we're gonna fix this. But it
Now,
gives you an over.
if you were to add a scarf, would you put the scarf around your neck?
Probably not. I would
Would-
probably let it and drape,
Okay.
and just unless I'm actually cold. If I'm doing it for fashion,
Mm-hmm.
I let it drape because that's just gonna give you a longer look because it's bringing the eye down. So
Okay.
taller. I have often have people tell me like I look taller than I am. I'm only 5'3".
Okay.
But I think it's because I try to make myself look long a lot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Then I would go ahead and like add some jewelry to this. I could do like small hoops if I wanted this to look more classic. I probably
Mm-hmm.
this bag. I would wear a classic bag.
Okay.
But if I wanted to look more classic, I would add a smaller earring. But hoops, and I like hoops, and I will do small, larger one. And
Okay.
this has, I don't know if you can see that, it has a little rhinestone
Mm-hmm.
because it just makes it more interesting than a basic silver hoop.
Yeah. And to me, this is a simple look, and I say simple in the sense that for those who are not comfortable with matching prints and different textures in that particular way, this still gives texture and depth to the look, and every color she has on is a solid look, but you still get depth with the boots and the texture from the bag. And like she said, if she were to add a scarf, it would add a different dimension, and so you still get the hardiness of this look without having all the different prints. I love it.
Thank you. And I think that's like what you said is really important. When you're shopping, especially if you're someone I am someone who likes neutrals. I like color too, but I would definitely think the majority of my wardrobe is neutral.
Mm-hmm.
Then textures really matter.
Yeah. Yeah.
You want to have things that are different textures. You don't want everything to like, so I have a shiny bag because
Mm.
it makes it more interesting. You don't want to just look boring. Even if you're someone who wears all black all the time, then
Mm.
you really better be wearing a lot of different textures so you don't look like you're wearing the same thing every single day. Because
Mm-hmm.
if you
Yeah. Yeah. And so one of the services that you offer, looks like you froze a little bit. Hopefully you can still hear me. One of the services that you offer is that you mentioned earlier that you come into the home and you help rid the closet. It's the organization is in the sense of not organized, going in and doing a whole wardrobe. I mean, not wardrobe, but a closet reboot. But you actually go in and show and teach what to keep, what fit look is the right fit for you, and you take out what isn't.
right.
Um, and you mentioned that that happens sometimes. Those are long days that happens.
Oh yeah.
We have a few minutes left. I want you to end on however you want to end, but after you end on any advice you want to give, but I also want you to inspire people to um, do this service and have this service for you as a gift. Ask for it for Christmas or Valentine's Day or your birthday. These are gifts that keep on giving, and they help you and they teach you. But I want to end it off with you. Leave any advice and also words of encouragement.
Okay. So if we're gonna start with advice, I think that I said this already, but you need to have enough clothes that easily fit in your space. One of the things that I do is I hang up all my clothes. I have been doing that since college. Hardly anything is in a dresser or a drawer because you don't tend to wear what you can't see.
Mm.
And so you want to put everything where you can see. In fact, under my bed is where my underwear, like there's a basket and there's one for underwear and one for socks, and literally almost every other thing I have is on display.
Wow.
And like I said, I feel like I wear most of my clothes, and a lot of people don't do that, and I think it's
Yeah.
because they have many and they can't see them.
Yeah.
So make sure that you're not overbuying. One of the things I'm doing this month is actually a no buy. So I'm not buying anything for the month of January. And I did it because our church was doing a fast and it was my
Mm.
thing. I wanted to fast.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I really feel like it's helped me see is holes in my wardrobe. So, because a lot of times we think we need things and those aren't the things we need. And so I'm seeing, okay, these are the things I actually have, and this is the thing that I could use. So it might be a good idea for like a period of time just to stop shopping with the intention of figuring out what you need. So that's a little bit of,
Mm.
and as encouragement, words of encouragement, which I think is the hardest part. I told her this before because we're all in different spaces in life, But I think we could start there. We're all in different spaces in there. I think we've all
Yeah.
heard that comparison is the thief of joy. And I think there's actually good comparison and bad comparison. If you want to compare yourself to someone because you like their style and you see what they're doing and you use that as motivation to get there, then that's perfect. That's
Mhm.
good. But if you're saying, I'm not here yet, and not like honoring where you are in life, that's a problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we really want to, as you like are figuring your style, one of the things that is really helpful is to go on Pinterest and like pick out looks that look like something you want to look like, but don't
Mhm.
be if you're not there yet. Just understand that you're on a journey and that
Mhm.
time. I feel like both of us, we've been doing this for years, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
we've like
Still
cultivated
growing. Mhm.
our and our wardrobe for years. We
Mhm.
didn't do it today.
Yeah.
And have the wardrobe that we want today. And that's a financial thing, it's some money. And so
Mm.
don't despise small beginnings. If you have to start with something that's inexpensive, an inexpensive version of what you like, start there, but do that. The other thing I said to myself years ago, because I have been through like, I've been dealt with pain since probably like 19. So that's like a long time. And
Mm.
one of the things I initially did is when you like find out you have some pain, you're like, oh, I just want to like crawl in bed and I want to lay here. And then I like quickly realized that could be your life, like
Yeah.
laying around, crawling in bed, doing
Mm.
things. And so one of the things fashion did for me is I said, I'm not gonna feel bad and look bad too. Like both
Mhm.
things gonna
Come
be
on
happening.
now. Yeah.
It's
Mhm.
if you look bad every day and then you or feel bad every day and you look in the mirror, you're like, oh, I look a mess too. Like
Right.
that was gonna hot, but that is what you want to do.
Yeah.
And I think I know a lot of times we feel like looking the fashion things is kind of like, I don't know, shallow.
Mhm.
It's a level of just care and love for yourself and dedication that
Yeah.
you have to do that. And also it kind of builds some characteristics in you like
It does.
discipline.
Yeah. It's a pick
Like,
me up.
it's
Yeah.
a so let it be all those things for you and just be comfortable investing in yourself and just finding what your style is. I think that's super
Mhm.
important. Find out what your own personal style is and
Mm.
share that with the world because we talked about this before, but someone's watching you.
Yes.
Someone's always watching you. And so even in the middle of your journey, you're an influencer yourself.
Yeah.
And so just remember that. I just
Mm.
want you to all do that. And another thing I I think you were going to ask me this, but I'll bring it up. I
Mhm.
said, I named this Chic Confidence. I
Yes.
was at
Also end with that, so you're perfect.
first, I was the trendy minimalist because I think that like my style is a little minimalistic and I don't like having a millions of stuff. But my mom told me you have too many things to be a minimalist. And so it's like, okay, we're changing the name. And chic is what in my comments, that's how I got the name. People
Mhm.
would say style is so chic.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, so that's like how people see you. They see you as chic. So that was
Mhm.
that. But the other part is the confidence. And for me, it's
Mhm.
really important that women do what they are called to do and feel comfortable doing it.
Yeah.
And what fashion really does for you is it makes you comfortable enough to go out and do what you need to do, which is
Mhm.
the more important thing. It's more important than the fashion, just going out into the world and being who
Yeah.
you're called to be and who you're purposed to be. And
Mm.
so use that and use fashion as a way to become confident and then walk out what God's put in you because we're waiting to see it, girl. We want to
Right.
bring it and somebody needs it and just keep that in
Yeah.
mind.
I think that's wonderful. I always say on this show, style is within, and fashion is how you dress it. And so, working on your self worth, working on your self esteem, because you got some of the flyest people out here. Every time you see them, from head to toe, just fly. But behind closed doors, they're a wreck. They're emotional. They're spiritually, physically, they're a wreck. So we want to build from the inside out. And guests like Jenean coming on, it helps. She's a great person to connect with. I know she's based out of Tallahassee. We're going to try to talk her to start doing some of these Zooms and getting some clients outside of Tallahassee that she can help and work with. And then, hey, I'm sure she's always available to fly out to your city if you flip the bill. But yeah, I thank you so much for everything you do. Like I said, I've been following you for a long time, and will continue to follow you and celebrate your wins, because I know many are coming your way. But we have her on the ticker. We have the Chic Confidence. Is chic.confidence on IG. And she's really, 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 truly trying to build her YouTube. So guys, make sure you go over to YouTube and subscribe there as well as Instagram. She needs you there as well. And let's be a support to each other. Our time is up. It's time to say goodbye for tonight. But I want to thank everyone who came and hung out. Thank you to Claire for hanging with us, and Gwen. We really appreciate you in the chat room. Guys, this is it. And as I always end the broadcast, love isn't love unless you give it away. Give some love away today, and make sure you go and show some love to Swagger Magazine. We would not be here if it were not for them. You guys be blessed and have a great evening.
Bye.